For nearly 12 years, one man hunted his victims without being caught. Police believed they were chasing a monster, but they were looking for the wrong man. Then something almost impossible happened. An innocent man was convicted and later executed, while the real killer remained free. He killed again and again. By the time investigators realized their mistake, dozens of lives had already been lost. Even more disturbing, investigators actually had forensic evidence, but that evidence pointed to the wrong blood type. How could something so important be completely wrong? We'll come back to that later. At first glance, Andrei Chikatilo looked completely ordinary. He worked regular jobs, he had a family. He blended into everyday life. His neighbors never suspected anything. Nothing about him seemed unusual, and that was exactly what made him so dangerous. The first known murder linked to Chikatilo happened in 1978. Police believed it was an isolated crime. It wasn't. More victims kept disappearing. More bodies were discovered. Yet investigators still failed to connect the cases. Then detectives noticed something unusual. Many victims had last been seen near railway stations. At first, it looked like a coincidence. But was it? Or had the killer been following the same pattern all along? That discovery would eventually change the investigation forever. Thousands of suspects were investigated, hundreds were questioned, police searched for years, yet somehow the killer continued living an ordinary life. Then came one of the biggest mistakes in the entire investigation: blood evidence. Every forensic test suggested the killer had blood type AB, but the real killer didn't. How could forensic science get something so important so wrong? The answer shocked investigators. Eventually, one detective stopped focusing on the blood evidence. Instead, he began studying railway routes and train schedules. That single decision changed everything. Within weeks, investigators finally identified their main suspect, but proving his guilt would be even harder. Years later, investigators finally understood what had happened. The blood tests weren't actually wrong. Chikatilo had a rare biological trait known as a non-secretor. Because of this condition, early forensic tests incorrectly identified his blood type, sending investigators in the wrong direction for years. After his arrest, Chikatilo confessed to 56 murders. The court convicted him of 52. His case exposed major flaws in forensic science, transformed criminal investigations across the former Soviet Union, and remains one of the most infamous serial murder investigations in history. But perhaps the most terrifying part of this story is that if one tiny forensic detail had been understood years earlier, many lives might have been saved.